Liverpool News is moving fast right now. From surprise coaching moves to massive transfer verdicts and contract talks, we've got everything you need to know. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool updates you won't find anywhere else.
News headline: John Heitinga joins Liverpool rival as Arne Slot's former assistant makes surprise coaching return. John Heitinga has made a return to the Premier League following his dismissal as Ajax head coach back in November. The former Everton defender had stepped down from his position as an assistant coach at Liverpool to take over at the Eredivisie Giants last summer. The Dutchman had been linked with a return to Anfield following his departure from Ajax, but he has instead joined one of the Reds' rivals. Tottenham Hotspur confirmed his appointment as assistant coach to Thomas Frank on Thursday, with Heitinga becoming the second member of Arne Slot's Premier League title-winning backroom team to join Spurs after goalkeeping coach Fabian Otti. Following Heitinga's appointment, Frank said, "John is a great addition to our coaching staff. His ability, personality, and character will add huge value both on and off the pitch." He had an impressive playing career across Europe, including 5 years in the Premier League and with the Dutch national team. As a former defender, that will be one of his main responsibilities on the training pitch, and he brings great coaching and management experiences from all levels of the game, which will really help us moving forward. Heitinga had spent the 2023-24 season as first-team coach at West Ham United under David Moyes before joining Liverpool in the summer of 2024. Following his Anfield exit, he was replaced by Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Heitinga's agent, Rob Janssen, revealed last year that he had warned his client against returning to Ajax, where he was previously a player and interim head coach, and that the Reds had wanted to extend his contract after winning the Premier League in his only season at Anfield.
News headline: Andy Robertson confirms new Liverpool contract talks as Red star faces difficult question. Liverpool left-back Andy Robertson lifts the lid on his contract situation at Anfield and what might happen next. Andy Robertson has confirmed contract talks with Liverpool are underway, but the vice-captain admits he is unsure as to what the future holds, saying, "I need to see what myself and my family wants moving forward." Robertson has rotated at left-back for the majority of the season with £40 million summer signing Milos Kerkez, and the Scotland captain faces the toughest competition he's had for a place in the side since he broke into the team under Jurgen Klopp in 2017. Now into his 9th season at Anfield, the left-back has started just 4 Premier League games this season, with 22-year-old Kerkez preferred by Arne Slot, and after interest from Atletico Madrid during the summer transfer window, Robertson admits what happens next is uncertain, after explaining that negotiations have now commenced. "We'll see what happens," Robertson said. "We've had chats now which will remain private. I've spoken to them, and we'll see what happens. Would I like to stay? Yes, but it's a difficult question to ask. I've got 5 months left, and we need to see the option to stay, or if there's options to go and things like that. I'll sit down with my family and decide. After a stressful summer, I'm just trying to enjoy being a part of it and being a Liverpool player. I wanted to qualify for the World Cup, and thankfully we've managed to do that. I need to see what myself and my family wants moving forward." Robertson had made 263 of his 320 Premier League appearances for the Reds during a legendary playing career on Merseyside that has seen him lift 2 Premier League titles, the Champions League and Club World Cup in 2019, a pair of Carabao Cup trophies, and the FA Cup 4 years ago. And the 31-year-old insists his CV at Anfield means he doesn't have to prove anything to the club's hierarchy between now and the end of the season, when he can leave as a free agent. Robertson, who joined from Hull City for £8 million in 2017, added, "I've given absolutely everything for the club for the last 8.5 years, and the club have been very good to me. They have rewarded me with good contracts when I have been playing well. Nobody can deny what I have given to this club. I've given everything day in and day out and put in some performances which I think have been good, and I hope others agree. I've won a lot of trophies and had a lot of good days here. So it's not quite like what the club needs to show in the next 4 months. My relationship with the people higher up in the club has always been excellent since the day I came in. Signing me for £8 million and then doing what I have done helps that. I remind people of that all the time. The relationship is good, and it's not quite what do they need to show me and what do I need to show them, as we've shown each other more than enough respect over the last 8.5 years, and we'll see what comes. Robertson insists he's enjoying his current role rotating with Kerkez, but hinted that the reduction in playing time this term will be a factor in his thinking when he comes to decide his next step after a storied period at Anfield. I can focus on the last 8.5 years. I think Jurgen Klopp left me out of one game and I was raging, I joked. So I'm a player who wants to play. I've played through injuries. I've played when I'm not 100% fit. I've played when I've only been 50, 40, 30% fit for this club and my country. I always want to be on the grass and playing, and obviously now that's not happening, so that's what is different. But I do have a different role here this season, which I'm getting enjoyment out of, but at the end of the day, footballers want to play, and if anyone is sat happy on the bench, then they don't belong at any football club. That's always my argument. You should always want to push to be in the team. If you're happy to be at Liverpool or Barnsley, wanting to sit on the bench, then I don't think you have the right attitude. I've played well in the games I've played this season. Maybe I've not played as much as I would have liked, but it's nothing I've been surprised by. Let's see what happens.
News headline: Liverpool handed final Florian Wirtz verdict after complaint over controversy. The Premier League Key Match Incidents panel has confirmed that Florian Wirtz's goal in the match against Fulham was rightfully awarded. Wirtz equalized for Liverpool at Craven Cottage in the 57th minute, capitalizing on Conor Bradley's touch. The assistant referee initially disallowed the goal by raising his flag. However, after a considerable delay, video assistant referee Andy Madley reviewed the goal and had decided to award it, aided by semi-automated offside technology. Disallowed. Wirtz's goal nearly secured all 3 points for Arne Slot's side when Cody Gakpo scored in the 4th minute of injury time. However, Harrison Reed struck back with an impressive equalizer just 3 minutes later. Despite the thrill of his team salvaging a point, Fulham manager Marco Silva expressed his outrage after the club sought an explanation from PGMOL. Now I have more images, different tools. For me, I cannot believe how that goal was allowed. It was a clear offside, Silva declared. We are still waiting for feedback from the Premier League. Everyone had the same opinion. It was clear. It's much more than 5 centimeters in my opinion. He added, against Palace at home, our goal from Emile Smith-Rowe was disallowed. It was not 5 centimeters, probably half the nail of Chukwueze. The goal was disallowed. What's happened to this game? The tolerance was not spoken about then. I believe at the end of the season, everything should be balanced. Everyone remembers what happened at Stamford Bridge, and it happened again on Sunday. Everything comes from VAR decisions.
News headline: Marc Guehi price given as defender enters Anfield contract talks. Liverpool continue to be linked to transfer moves in the January window, with the latest rumors and gossip coming out of Anfield. Liverpool are set to return to Premier League action against Burnley this weekend amidst ongoing speculation in the January transfer window. The Reds brought in 7 new faces last summer, shelling out a total of £446 million, but due to injuries and future planning, it's likely they'll be active in the market once more. Alexander Isak, who was signed for £125 million on deadline day, suffered a severe leg injury during a match against Tottenham Hotspur in December and is expected to be sidelined for some time. Adding to their troubles, new Italian centre-back Giovanni Leone incurred a season-ending injury in September and isn't anticipated to regain full fitness until at least the summer. Consequently, Liverpool could have a busy January ahead. With this in mind, the Echo delves deeper into all the major transfer news emerging from Anfield. Marc Guehi's price tag confirmed. Transfer expert Florian Plettenberg reports that Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner is seeking between £35 million and £40 million for central defender Marc Guehi should he be sold in January. If Guehi isn't sold, the 25-year-old will be free to join a new club in the summer when his contract with the London-based team expires. Liverpool, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, and other teams are reportedly all vying for his signature. Guehi nearly made the move to Liverpool on deadline day last summer, but Palace halted the transfer at the 11th hour. Palace boss Steve Parish explained why to TalkSport. "It's a difficult decision. It's as simple as that. These things are never black and white. I decided in the end that based on the advice that I got and with what I think, that we would have a better season if we kept Marc," he said.
We don't guess about these things. If you look at it rationally, if you look at what is worth the place in the Premier League, the fact that we're in the Conference League for the first time in our history, this is a fairly unusual set of circumstances in which to keep a player. Andy Robertson enters contract talks. Liverpool left-back Andy Robertson has revealed that discussions with the club regarding a new contract are now taking place as he looks to extend his stay on Merseyside. However, the vice-captain hasn't ruled out exploring alternative options. "We'll see what happens," Robertson said. "We've had chats now which will remain private. I've spoken to them and we'll see what happens. Would I like to stay? Yes, but it's a difficult question to ask. I've got 5 months left and we need to see the option to stay or if there's options to go and things like that. I'll sit down with my family and decide. After a stressful summer, I'm just trying to enjoy being a part of it and being a Liverpool player. I wanted to qualify for the World Cup, and thankfully we've managed to do that. I need to see what myself and my family wants moving forward."
News headline: Arne Slot hints at creative Conor Bradley injury solution and admits mistake with Liverpool star. Arne Slot has hinted he might turn to Wataru Endo at right back following the Japan international's return from injury. The 32-year-old was an unused substitute for Liverpool's FA Cup win over Barnsley on Monday night, having been sidelined with an ankle injury since the 3-3 draw away at Leeds United at the start of December. Endo had found his game time limited so far this season, with the midfielder only making 5 appearances in the Premier League. Meanwhile, he has featured for just 11 minutes in the English top flight since the end of the summer transfer window. But having seen Conor Bradley ruled out until the end of the campaign with a season-ending knee injury, Slot has hinted he could, at times, turn to Endo at right back, with the Dutchman admitting he would rather not play Dominic Szoboszlai in the position. "We have 3 long-term injuries: Conor, Giovanni Leone, Alex, not as long as the other 2, but also quite long. Endo had only trained once," Slot said. "It's good to have Watari back as well, because you can see another time Dominic Szoboszlai had to play in the fullback position, and that might not be the last time this season. Although I favor him in the midfield, and I think he favors himself in midfield. But sometimes, if you have no other options, you need to be creative." Slot also shared his delight at having Hugo Ekitike back from a hamstring injury after the French international missed Liverpool's last 2 games. However, the Dutchman shared his sympathy with Traoré Nyoy as he conceded the teenager had found himself limited to only a late substitute appearance against the Tykes because of Barnsley's goal, courtesy of a Szoboszlai error, shortly before half-time. "Hugo, of course we missed him, even more if Alex is out as well," he told LFC TV. "But we couldn't take the risk because Alex is out. You cannot take the risk in the games before. It is always nice if you are number 9 and you didn't play for 2 games, that you come in and immediately score again. Good to have him back. I feel really sorry for Trey, because maybe it was my mistake, but at 2-1 I thought I had to make the substitutions to win the game, instead of giving a young player who is training every single day so hard and is such a big talent the playing time he might deserve. I thought, let's bring Ryan in first, and that all had to do with us conceding the 2-1, because usually a game like this should go to 3 and then maybe more, but we made it difficult for ourselves."
News headline: Liverpool receive final verdict after furious Florian Wirtz complaint lodged. Florian Wirtz's equalizer at Fulham for Liverpool caused controversy after the German seemed to be in an offside position, but the decision has been justified after a review. The Premier League Key Match Incidents Panel, KMI panel, has confirmed that Florian Wirtz's goal against Fulham was correctly awarded. Wirtz drew Liverpool level at Craven Cottage in the 57th minute after latching on to Conor Bradley's touch. The assistant referee immediately raised his flag to disallow the goal. After a lengthy wait, the video assistant referee, Andy Madley, reviewed the goal and decided to award it thanks to the help of semi-automated offside technology, SAOT. Wirtz was aided by the 5 centimeters of tolerance allowed to attackers. The tolerance is referred to as thicker lines, which is implemented in the Premier League and not in Germany, Spain, or Italy. The KMI panel has unanimously backed Madley's decision to count Wirtz's goal against Fulham. They said the VAR intervention to award the goal was supported as correct, given the tight margin of the offside call and thicker offside lines used for these incredibly tight calls. Wirtz's goal came close to helping Arne Slot's men take all 3 points from Fulham when Cody Gakpo netted in the 4th minute of injury time. However, Harrison Reed scored a sensational leveler 3 minutes later.
Despite the euphoria of seeing his side rescue a point, Fulham boss Marco Silva launched a furious rant after the club contacted PGMOL for an explanation. "Now I have more images, different tools. For me, I cannot believe how that goal was allowed. It was a clear offside," Silva said. "We are still waiting for feedback from the Premier League. Everyone had the same opinion. It was clear. It's much more than 5 centimeters in my opinion." He added, "Against Palace at home, our goal from Emile Smith-Rowe was disallowed. It was not 5 centimeters, probably half the nail of Chukwueze. The goal was disallowed. What's happened to this game? The tolerance was not spoken about then. I believe at the end of the season, everything should be balanced. Everyone remembers what happened at Stamford Bridge, and it happened again on Sunday. Everything comes from VAR decisions."
News headline: Former Liverpool star drops Xabi Alonso verdict after Arne Slot replacement theory raised. Many fans have theorized that Liverpool may be willing to axe Arne Slot in favor of former player Xabi Alonso in the summer, following his exit from Real Madrid this month. Former Liverpool star Danny Murphy believes the club's board will be aware of Xabi Alonso's situation, but believes they won't make drastic moves to replace Arne Slot anytime soon. It comes as the ex-midfielder lost his job as Real Madrid head coach following a 3-2 defeat to Barcelona in the Spanish Super Cup. Alonso was touted as a possible replacement to Jurgen Klopp a couple of years ago, but after he committed to staying at Bayer Leverkusen, attention quickly turned to Slot. The Dutchman delivered the Premier League title in his first season, banishing many thoughts about a missed opportunity to land a former player as head coach instead. The Spaniard then made his move to Real Madrid, which only lasted a few months, but his exit has coincided with a tough spell for Liverpool this season. As a result, many fans have theorized that the club hierarchy would be willing to switch Slot for Alonso if the opportunity arises in the coming months. Former star Murphy has given his verdict on the Spanish coach and the possibility of him arriving at Anfield in the near future, as he said on TalkSport. "He was a brilliant footballer, really intelligent, not the most athletic, but he had that football intelligence. I know the lads there who played with him spoke highly of him. That doesn't happen, in fact, very rarely. Very likable. He started off his managerial career really well. Maybe Real Madrid came too soon for him." On the possibility of him arriving back at Liverpool, Murphy added, "Yeah, Liverpool board will keep a close eye on proceedings. That's what you should be doing. Keeping on top of what's going on around you if you're a top club, ready for a contingency if something bad happens." But Slot's actually recovered from the poor spell well. They haven't been playing brilliantly, but the injuries, problems they've had, to be on a 10-game unbeaten run, they've stabilized. He's done all right. He, Slot, needs a good second half to the season, but I wouldn't think there's any drastic thoughts of the hierarchy. Liverpool have often been keen to give their head coaches time to get things right, and while Slot got off to a quick start last season with a title win, there has been a need for patience this campaign. Expectations may have skyrocketed after a summer spend topping £450 million on top of a team that already won the league, but there are clear problems to be solved. "We know that our league position makes it very hard to compete with Arsenal for the league title," Slot admitted to Sky Sports recently. "Our first focus now is on a top 4, top 5 finish to qualify for the Champions League. And all the other things we can still play for the Champions League, for the FA Cup. Anything other than Champions League qualification could change the picture for Slot, however, which may well see the board turn their attention towards a managerial market that is expected to explode over the summer. Alonso's exit from Real Madrid makes him an obvious top candidate, not least with his ties to Liverpool from his playing career, but there is also proof of working well with the players he had at Bayer Leverkusen. He has, so far, been a project coach who can work through spells, something that clearly isn't afforded to a coach at Real Madrid, who went on to lose to second-tier Albacete in the Copa del Rey on Wednesday night in their first game since the change in the dugout. Perhaps a move to Liverpool, who are traditionally patient with coaches, will be an attractive prospect for the 44-year-old, but that all depends on how the club view the current job being done by their manager.